We live in a world where control is celebrated. Hustle harder, push through, make it happen. That's what we're told. Sounds empowering on the surface, but let me tell you something. Constantly trying to force things to happen isn't strategy, it's survival mode. It's fear wearing the mask of ambition. And the truth is, forcing control is often a trauma response, not a solution. Let me explain what I mean by that. When you've been through something in your life, maybe a time when you felt powerless, like a job loss, a heartbreak, being abandoned, overlooked, or just not enough, you learn to protect yourself. You start believing that the only way to stay safe is to control everything. You try to plan it all, control the timing, the people, the outcome. Why? Because your nervous system remembers what it felt like to be out of control. That pain, that fear. And now you do everything in your power to make sure you never feel that way again. So what do? You grip life with both hands. You don't trust the process. You try to dominate it. You chase relationships that aren't meant for you. You cling to jobs that drain your soul. You obsess over every detail, every text, every step of the journey. And if things aren't moving fast enough, you push harder. You get frustrated. You start spiraling. You tell yourself you're not doing enough, that maybe you need to fix something else, sacrifice more sleep, more peace, more of you, just to make it happen. But here's the problem with that. Control is an illusion. The more you try to force something, the more resistance you create. Think about it. Have you ever tried to force a conversation with someone who wasn't ready to talk? Or push yourself into a room you weren't meant to be in? That energy, it doesn't feel empowering. It feels desperate. And people can feel that. Life can feel that. That energy blocks what's meant for you. And neurologically, your brain doesn't work well under that kind of pressure. When you're in a state of control and fear, your brain switches into fight or flight. Your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for rational thinking, decision-making, and creativity, shuts down. You literally can't think clearly when you're trying to force everything. That's why you make poor choices. That's why you feel stuck. That's why no matter how hard you try, nothing feels like it's clicking. Now, here's the truth nobody talks about enough. The most powerful shift you can make is learning to let go. Not give up, let go. There's a difference. Giving up is rooted in defeat. Letting go is rooted in trust. It's a decision to stop white-knuckling life and start listening to your own inner wisdom. It's choosing to believe that you don't have to chase what's meant for you. You just have to align with it. That takes courage. It takes healing. And it takes learning a whole new way of being. When you stop forcing, you create space. Space for clarity. Space for the right people and opportunities to enter. Space for your nervous system to calm down so your brain can function properly again. You start noticing things you missed before. The signs, the ideas, the tiny nudges from your intuition that you couldn't hear over all that noise. That's when things start falling into place. Not because you're pushing, but because you're allowing. Letting go doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care enough to not ruin something by smothering it. It means you're strong enough to surrender, to trust that what's meant for you will never require you to betray yourself to have it, that the right job won't need you to lose your sanity, the right relationship won't require you to beg, the right opportunity won't feel like you're fighting a war just to prove your worth. You don't have to force your future into being. You need to heal the part of you that believes force is the only way to survive. And that starts with awareness. Start paying attention to when you're trying to control too much. Pause, breathe, ask yourself, am I moving from fear or from trust? Then choose differently. That's how the shift begins. Not all at once, but one brave moment at a time. You're not here to force your way through life. You're here to live it. To experience joy, growth, connection. And that doesn't happen when you're constantly in control mode. It happens when you lean in, when you trust, and when you finally give yourself permission to let things unfold. Because believe me, when you stop forcing it, everything starts falling into place. We spend so much time trapped in our heads, don't we? Obsessing over every possible outcome. Replaying past conversations, rehearsing future ones, planning the plan for the plan. And the lie we tell ourselves is that if we just think harder, if we just analyze it one more time, we'll finally get clarity. We'll finally know what to do. But that's not how clarity works. Clarity doesn't come from overthinking. It comes from taking action. Most people don't have a clarity problem. They have a courage problem. The truth is, you usually know what you need to do. You feel it in your gut. You hear that little voice in the back of your mind that says, it's time to move on, or you need to try that, or this isn't it. But instead of acting on it, you try to logic your way into confidence. You think if you just wait long enough or research enough or get enough outside validation, you'll feel ready. Spoiler alert, you never do. Here's the deal. Your brain's job is to protect you. And one of the ways it does that is by keeping you stuck in thought loops. Overthinking feels productive. It tricks you into believing you're making progress. But what you're really doing is avoiding the discomfort of action, because action carries risk. Action means stepping into the unknown. It means leaving the safety of what's familiar, even if that familiar thing is toxic, unfulfilling, or clearly not working. But the only way you're ever going to get true clarity